A while ago, we talked about the begonia, and I showed you how to propagate a cane begonia and a begonia that has rhizomes. And today I woke up and I had a look at this plant. It's my polka dot begonia. And I thought, let me give you an update about my begonias. Look at that. That is beautiful. Look at the size of those flowers. It's magical. And inside you get these lovely little yellows, which actually make it so stunning. Today I'd like to talk about my begonias and update you as to what has happened, and also let's have a walk around. My name is Alice and I'm the Red Soil Gardener. So the last time we looked at begonias, we had talked about the wax begonia here. And suddenly, the other day again, I looked, and because it's getting warmer and it is our rainy season, everything is springing up. So look at this, these beautiful flowers. I put a geranium there to pick up that color. And we also looked at my Rex begonia. Look how big and lush it's grown. Isn't that so beautiful? So what I did once I started getting really crazy about begonias is I went and bought a begonia, this sort of begonia. Look at that, it's lovely. And what I did is that I did a water propagation and a soil propagation on it. And I did get rooting. And what I've done is that from the mother plant, I've made all these lovely begonias and I've hung them up in macrames. And look at that flower, isn't that beautiful? And this is simply from a soil and water propagation. You must try that out. Now, in that episode where we talked about begonias, do you remember we talked about my cane begonia? Now look at this. This is the size of it. And remember we talked about the little baby that was coming up. It's actually matured and is getting its own flowers. So this area is actually the best place for this plant because first of all, it does have that air circulation happening and it's not against the wall, a point that I had brought up when we talked about begonias. The second thing is that you do get diffused light, so it does get that warmth, but at the same time you don't get that sort of very harsh sunlight at all. So they do really well. Now look at that size. Another thing, as we talked about before, is that with my begonias, I just usually go into them and snap some of that rhizome and add it into my hanging plant. And we've talked about this one before, but look, it's all coming up, and with the rain, all the flowers are starting again. Now, one of the most important things about begonias, or even about your garden, is if you remember, I had these three plants in that corner where the polka dot begonia sits. Now, what had happened is that my angel's trumpet started getting quite thick, the foliage, and I realized, especially with these begonias, you really need to have that circulation of air, otherwise you will get sort of mildew and all those sort of infestation. So what I decided to do is, as I didn't want to continue pruning my angel's trumpet, is that I bought them here. Now the perfect thing about this corner, the sun does come from the east and goes over, so by 11 o'clock we don't get full sun, so they're doing really well. And also I feel as if in that little corner where the polka dot begonias are, it's a bit too enclosed for these ones, only because the foliage is quite full and you get all that humidity sitting inside, and you do get sometimes that the stems do sort of go soggy. But this is perfect because all the circulation is there. We get a bit of sun and it's a warmer place. And so I've got all these lovely flowers now, similar to the ones I have on the hanging on the macrame. Look at these ones. They've got red flowers, and aren't they so pretty? And some of these ones are the ones I propagated. A lot of the ones I propagated I did give to friends once I did get the babies coming up. But then these ones I've actually kept here because basically I use begonias quite a lot in my hanging baskets. So fellow gardeners, do introduce begonias in your garden. They're so versatile. I have some here which are hanging with my beautiful fishbone cactus, always introduce them in your garden, because also they do flower all the time, more or less, but it just makes your hanging baskets a bit more interesting. And look at this. And so what I will do after it flowers, as it's tilting this way, I will actually do more propagation with the stem and then increase my stock. So thank you so much for following us today. Don't forget to like, share, press that notification button. Also, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Have a lovely day.